Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It's me again, Chelsea, and today we are doing my final wrap up of 2020. So this is all of the books that I read in December. So I think I did alright in December, if I'm completely honest. I didn't do any audio or any ebooks. They are all physical books and I still think I managed a fair amount. I read 8 books physically, like no audio, and I got through Christmas, so... So let's go through all of them together. So the first book that I read in December was How the King of Elfheim Learned to Hate Stories by Holly Black. I rated this 4 stars. Like, it was good. The artwork is amazing. I'm pretty sure I show it off in every single video that I will ever talk about it. The artwork is stunning, but it wasn't a 5-star for me. Obviously, it's just a collection of short stories. Some of them I preferred over others. I definitely loved the very last story. So the very last story is pretty much Carden and Jude set in the real world where they're visiting Jude's sister, and then some of the things go down, but that was definitely one of my favourite stories just for the fact that it's them in the future and not his past. I did really enjoy though finding out about his past, like kind of seeing why he's turned out the way he's turned out. It's a 4-star, it's alright, it's good, I recommend it, and now my collection is complete, so there's that. And I do have 2 copies of this book, which is a slight problem. But we digress. The next book that I read in December was Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty. This is the second book in the Dagobah trilogy and I rated it 4 stars. Again, I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic book. But my thing with 5 stars is that you need to have an emotional connection, and there were no bits in this book that I was like, I can see myself crying. I don't cry at books. I haven't cried at books. I will be very surprised if one does make me cry, and if it does, flat out 5 stars, but that's yet to happen. So yeah, I love this book. I thought it was fantastic. Definitely a fantastic sequel. I don't think it suffered with middle book syndrome, which I find with a lot of trilogies. The first book is like action-packed. The second book is kind of like a travelling book usually, like there's a reason they're going from A to B, something like that, and then the last book is usually where all of the action finally takes place. I don't think this book suffered with that. I loved this book. I love the way it happened. I love the perspectives that we're looking at. It bounces around quite a lot, which I love. I love multiple perspectives. I think they're the best. I think it's the best way to take in any story. I can't wait to finish this series now. I need to finish it like ASAP. I need to read the 3rd book, but it's not fitting into my January TBR. So we are yet to find out when I will read it, but I can't wait. I cannot wait. The one thing I will say though is that this year I'm using the core pile sheet from Book Roast So G. I will link her video down below of the core pile sheet that she uses. I'm wondering if that's going to change how I feel about books, because the way it works is that it separates them out. This is a bit of a digression, but I'll get back to rating my books in 1 second. But the way she rates it is that it's different sections, so like characters, plot, that kind of thing, and you rate it out of 10. And I'm really interested to keep using it this year. 1, because the stats it shows me are incredible and I really want to keep track of my actual stats this year, and 2, I want to see if what I think in my head for the star rating is what it comes up with on the spreadsheet, because it kind of, you put like 1 to 10 and then it kind of wraps it all up into how many stars that equates to on the sheet, and I'm interested to see if that correlates to my head and to the spreadsheet. Anyways, that was my digression. Let's get back to rating these books. So the next book that I completed, I actually forgot that I did complete an audiobook, and that is The Graveyard Book by Neil Gaiman. So in this book we're following a young boy called Nobody, shortened to Bod, and something tragic happens to him when he is small and he ends up living in a graveyard and he's being looked after by the ghosts of the graveyard. And it's just such a really cute story. I rated it 4 stars because again there was none of that emotional connection as much. Like, I thought it was a fantastic story, but it just wasn't a 5-star for me. But I loved this book. I thought it was great. The story was fantastic and so sweet. You follow Bod from when he's like a baby up until the age of, I think it's like 16, and I just love him. He's so cute and so sweet. But yeah, 4 stars, really enjoyed it. I do recommend it. Again, As I say in every video, my descriptions for these books will not be the best, so the links for all of the books will be down below. They will be Goodreads links. Check them out if you need a better description than what I give, because my descriptions aren't always the best. The next book that I finished in December was Vicious Spirits by Kat Cho, and I rated this again 4 stars. I think this month was very heavily 4 stars related, which I think is a fantastic reading month, because 4 stars to me are like fantastic books, and that means that I am doing really well in picking out my own books. But yes, I rated this 4 stars. This is the sequel to Wicked Fox, which is a story based around Korean myth and folklore. Our main character is a Gummiho, which is a 9-tailed fox, and in the first book she loses her fox speed, which is basically the essence of her Gummiho ness, and we're following her and another main character called Jihoon, and there's obviously a bit of romance in that. In this book we are following their friends-ish. I think friends is like in the loosest term. Somin is definitely a friend, and Junwoo is a bit nah. Junwoo is like, I'm gonna actually really screw up how do you say this, but it's a dokubi or something like that. It's like a demon goblin thing. We're also following him, and there is another romance that ensues in this book. I felt the romance better in this book than I did in the first book, which is saying something because I'm not a big romance person, but at the same time there was, I don't know, there was something about it that didn't make it 5 stars. I don't know whether that was the pacing or not. The pacing was, for me, a little bit all over, not all over the place, but a lot happened and then a lot didn't happen and then a lot happened and then a lot didn't happen. You know, it was kind of like peaks and troughs. But anyways, 4 stars. Did really enjoy it. I will probably reread the series at some point. I think it would probably help if I reread the first book, because I read that so long ago last year that when I came to this one I was like, who's that? Why is that? What? So maybe I'll do a reread of the 2 books probably next year. Like, that's a long way away, but probably next year. Another 4-star read for me in December, and that was Dangerous Remedy by Kat Dunn. Now this book I rated 4 stars, as I have just said, but it took me a while to get to 4 stars. The start of this book starts off really fast and I really enjoyed it, and then like in the middle I kind of lost it and I was like, it's okay, it's a 3-star. The way this book ended, my goodness, like that is what pushed it up to a 4-star. It is a lower 4-star for me than a higher 4-star, but I still really enjoyed this. This is set in France. So we are following 4 main people to begin with in this. We have Camille, who is a revolutionary's daughter, and I didn't really like her character, didn't really like her much, if I'm honest. That's not that I didn't like the way she was written, but I didn't like her as a person. You know when you meet people and you're like, don't think I'm gonna get along with you. Camille was that for me. Then you've also got Ada, who is her runaway lover, and I thought she was super sweet. I did quite like her. I preferred her over Camille. You've got Gil, who is a deserter from the military, and then you have Al, who is an aristocrat, but his family have basically run away because this is set in the time with the French Revolution and a lot of people getting beheaded. That is what this is, and these group of people have formed kind of like a battalion where they try and save innocent people from the guillotine, and like the premise is really good, the ending is really good, the middle bit not so good, but I liked where this went. There was a twist at the end which I actually quite enjoyed. It wasn't something that I foresaw, but I think if I was actually paying a little bit more attention I probably would have. It makes more sense. But yeah, I did really enjoy this. There is a sequel coming out and I will be picking up the sequel. I really hope that we get a special edition sequel as well, so I can match. My next read for December was The Wind in the Willows, and I did give this 2 stars. Which is quite harsh, but I didn't enjoy this at all. I tried to read it physically and it didn't happen. So again, another audiobook that I completely forgot that I read in December, because December feels so long ago when I'm filming this. But yeah, 2 stars. Do you know what? The Wind in the Willows is one of those classics where personally, every time I read it, watch the play, listen to it, have someone talk me through it, I get confused. Like, I don't really get the point. What is the point? I don't know. I understand that this is obviously animals acting like people and giving them people stereotypes and traits, but I just don't enjoy it. And I'm trying to read more classics, but I'm coming to the conclusion that although I have someone who has a heck of a classics collection, I probably am not the sort of person that would enjoy them. And I wonder if I'm keeping them for nostalgia reasons, because some of them, actually majority of them, are ones that I collected when I was young. So I wonder if that is why I have held on to these books. The next book that I finished in December is The Diviners by Libba Bray, and I love this book. This took me a heck of a time to actually get through because, again, not that there was a pacing issue, but personally I felt like there was a lot of time spent on slower aspects, which makes sense because if you put this into like a TV show or a movie, you would have to focus on those elements because it is a thriller mystery book. It needs that groundwork, but I love this. Again, another book with multiple perspectives, definitely a creepy book, got to be said. I was hoping to read this in October, but I didn't get around to finishing it until December, and you know what, I'm so glad I read this. I'm so glad I've got the second one on hand. Again, not another book that I can fit into my January TBR, but maybe in February I'll actually be able to get to it. I don't know if I want to put it off until October and read it in the spooky season again. I don't know, I haven't decided, but I really enjoyed this book. My favourite character to read from was definitely Evie O'Neill, who is obviously the main protagonist, which is listed on the back of the book. But we had like some other background bits with other characters throughout the book, and I really enjoyed, there's one character called Theta, and just going back throughout the whole book, she mentions something that happened to her past, and eventually by the end of the book we do actually find out what that was, and I quite liked how that played out. I didn't feel like it was dragged out, I didn't feel as though it was too rushed, or it was done perfectly, and this book is amazing. I recommend it. Again, just a little bit off that 5-star. I don't know what it is. Maybe when I read the second one and rate it through Core it will be a 5-star. I don't know. I'm yet to find out, but maybe we'll find out this year. But I recommend this book. Read it. Check the trigger warnings. There probably are quite a few for this. Obviously, it's a book revolving around a murder, and some of the elements in it are a bit graphic. There is also a trigger warning for sexual assault in here. Definitely. I can't really think of any others off the top of my head, but be sure to check them out just in case any of them would affect you. The next book that I finished in December was the Magpie Society, One for Sorrow by Zoe Sugg and Amy McCulloch. I gave this book 3 stars. It was alright. I really like YA mystery thrillers. I don't know if you've noticed, I am a really big Karen M. McManus fan. That is what she writes. When I read Truly Devious, I fell in love with the series. I have the second one on its way. This one didn't hit the mark for me. I did enjoy it. It was good. But this is a book that I feel like suffers from pacing difficulties. One minute you're doing one thing, the next minute you're doing another thing. Some of it was done really, really well. Like, you don't want to walk back from point A to B. Sometimes you want to just be in the action, and that I completely understand. But some of this book, like, I feel like the ending was a little bit like all of a sudden there. I don't know. I like the premise of this with the secret society that is possibly taking place in this school. That is something that steps in and helps the school. I really like that premise. I liked the main characters-ish. Like, they were good. At the start of the book, they don't like each other. Or at least Ivy doesn't like Audrey, and Audrey is the new girl, and Ivory feels as though she's had all of her prefect privileges taken away. She was meant to have a room by herself, and suddenly she's got a roommate, which, I mean, when I was that age, maybe that would have been something that would have stuck in my craw, you know, really annoyed me. But reading it now, I'm not too sure. But I did enjoy it. I will definitely be picking up the sequel because I'm hoping that just a case of the first book, information overload, maybe when the next book comes out, I don't know if it's coming out this year, I'll do a reread and maybe I'll enjoy it more. I don't know. But yes, I gave this 3 stars. It's a good book. I would recommend it if you like YA thrillers, but it's not my favourite at all. And then my final book for December 2020, the one that took me to my Goodreads goal of 75, is a 4-star, and that is Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This book I enjoyed better than I thought I would. So when I originally started reading this, I can't remember when, it was months ago, I found out that this book predominantly follows Tella, which is Scarlett's sister, and Scarlett is the main character from the first book, and I didn't really like her, but this book got 4 stars because it made me like her. That is it. Again, just shy of a 5-star probably. I'm wondering whether the third book will actually be a 5-star. That is going to be the tie-up for the whole series. I'm really excited to get to the third and final book. Hopefully this year will be the year where I finish Shedload trilogies that I have currently sitting on my shelves, because I am like 2 books into a lot of them. I just need to get them done, and I'll feel so much better when I get them done. I can't wait. But anyways, yes, I can't wait to get to the third and final book of this series and see how it all pans out. I don't even know who in the third book we're meant to be following. I don't know, it's all rather exciting. That is all of the books that I read in December 2020. There were quite a few good books actually on there. Majority of them are 4 stars. Obviously there was only 1 2-star, 1 3-star, but it happens. Not every book I can pick is going to be a favourite, and I understand that. I just wish it wasn't true. But yes, that is everything for today's video. Please give it a like if you enjoyed it. It really supports me and my channel. Leave me a comment down below. What did you finish your 2020 reading? Like, these are what I finished my year reading. Have you read any of the books that I have also read that I've mentioned this month? Let me know down below. And if you want to see more of me, please consider subscribing again down below and hit that bell so you get notified when I upload my content. It's a new year. Happy New Year. It's 2021. We're gonna get some really good reading done. I'm gonna hopefully beat the amount of books that I read in 2020, but I'm not counting on it. Again, in my resolutions video, I'll link it up here. I have mentioned that my target is 52 books, but we shall see. But that is everything from me today. I really hope you are having an amazing day, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Bye.